Hello and welcome to the overview video of Lipide Migrator for Documents. Lipide Migrator for Documents is a one-stop solution to migrate documents from file systems and public folders of Exchange Server to SharePoint Server. In this video, we'll discuss to migrate the content from File Server to SharePoint Server. Also, in the course of time, you will come to know how to add SharePoint Server as the destination, how to add remote file system as the source, and how to perform the content migration. Install the software first. If you have any queries regarding installation, then please check the installation and activation guide for Lipide Migrator for Documents. Now once installed, you will see this welcome screen. Click Add New Site button on the toolbar. This will display Add New Site dialog box. Provide a project name here. Enter the URL of your SharePoint site, site collection or central administration where you want to upload your content. Provide the login credentials of an administrative user. Now if you have entered URL of a site collection and wanted to enumerate its application sites, then click Find Site Collection. This will display Enum Site Collection Wizard. Enter the URL now for your site collection or central administration. Provide the login credentials of an administrative user. Click Next and you may be asked to provide the login credentials again in a dialog box. Kindly provide the same and click OK. This will let software establish the connection to SharePoint Server. You'll notice the name of site collection or central administration. Select any web application and click Next. You'll find a list of all the sites in this application. Select a site and click Finish. This will take you back to Add New Site dialog box. Provide a project name here. Now click OK to connect to the mentioned SharePoint site and add it as the destination. The local file system will be added as the default source. To add a drive of any networked computer or a network drive, click Add New Source button and then select File System. This will display the Add New File System dialog box. Provide the name or IP address of the network computer or the network drive to which you want to connect. Select the drive from the drop-down menu. Click OK. This will add the selected remote file system as your source. Click Migration to SharePoint button and select File System option. This will show you the file system to SharePoint migration wizard. You can add the content from local and remote file systems in the same way. This will list 4 options: add file, or folders, a remote file, or a remote folder. You can select the first option, add files, to add the files from your local file system. The second option will let you add one folder at a time from the local file system. When you select the option add remote file, the remote system dialog box will appear. Provide the computer name here and select the drive. Click Validate Connection button to verify the connectivity. Now click the Next button to complete the connection. Now all files and folders on the selected network drive will be listed. Select the files to be added and click Select button. Now click Add Remote Folder to add the folders from the remote file system using the same method. Select an item from the list and click Group Users Permissions to view its assigned permissions. Click Next. This will display the options to select the SharePoint list or folder where you want to upload the content. Select the SharePoint site URL and click Browse button. Now it will display the Select SharePoint List Library dialog box. Select a library and click OK. This will let the software to refresh its connection to the selected SharePoint list. Click Next to proceed. Here you will find the attribute mapping option. The common attributes are mapped automatically. Click Edit button to access Set Value box. Here you can specify the desired value for mapping any attribute. Click Next button to proceed. Now you'll see the migration options. Check Overwrite Existing File option if you want to overwrite the existing file on the server. Else you can check Upload File Only if the target file exists and is older than the source file and if needed. This option will let you upload an item only when it is updated or modified. Select the option Ignore File Path to ignore the path of a file. You can check the option Select Filter to enable the filter section. It shows different filters available to filter out the exactly required content to be uploaded. Select the filter, select its condition and provide a value. Once you have configured the options, click Next to proceed. Now here you have to select the options to migrate the permissions. Check the boxes Migrate Permissions and then Remap Users to map the users and their permissions. Suppose the administrator of a file system has the full rights, whereas user 1 has read-only rights. You can map the permissions of both administrator and user 1 of file system to the users of SharePoint for transferring their permissions. Click Add New Mapping button, which will show Remap Users dialog box. Enter the usernames for both source and destination to map their permissions. Now click OK. The entries will be listed in the wizard. You can map as many users you want. Now click Next to proceed. If you have added the content from the remote file system, then this step will appear. You have to provide the login credentials of an administrative user who have full rights on the content added from the networked drives. Now click Next. Here you have to select whether you want to schedule the migration job to be repeated at selected intervals automatically or run the job right now. Select the option Schedule and click Change Schedule button. This will show the scheduling options. You can create the schedules for one-time job, daily, weekly or monthly jobs. Now click OK once you are done. If you don't want to schedule anything, select the option Execute Immediate to run the job right now. Now click Next. Now this step will display the summary of all the selected options. If everything seems fine, then click Next. Else you can click Back button to modify the options. Clicking Next here will start the migration. You can click Stop Migration button to cancel the migration while it is in progress. Migration will take a considerable amount of time depending upon the connectivity to the SharePoint server and the computer's performance. Once the migration is done, a migration report will be displayed on the screen. Click Finish to complete the process. So that was a technical overview of Lipide Migrate for Documents. Before I conclude, I would like to introduce a very interesting feature in this tool, which lets you migrate the content from Exchange public folders to SharePoint in the same way you just saw it for file system to SharePoint. Click the link to see the video of public folder to SharePoint migration. And yes, get a copy of Lipide Migrate for Documents instantly and try it out in your environment. The trial evaluation for this tool is absolutely free. Thanks for watching this video.